Hello and welcome. I'm Lee Johnson, and I just wanted to actually talk about content and what kind of content I'm going to be creating, when I'm going to be creating it, where, because that's what I've been working on trying to resolve the past week. So there's going to be content on my YouTube channel and Facebook page. And also I've created a Patreon page, which I'm going to start using. So the Patreon page is going to be divided into two main sections. Firstly, you're going to have, I've called it the entrepreneur or the manifesting entrepreneur. Can't remember now. I kept switching and changing it. So that's going to be focused on small business owners, entrepreneurs, people who are starting online businesses, things like that, who don't have a lot of funds. And it'll be focused mostly on how to get things started, how to create a website, how to use WordPress, themes that you can use, plugins you should be using, and also how to do online marketing, basically how to take a business from zero to where you need it to be. So how to create a business, how to put it online and how to market it and get the audience to it and things like that. So that's going to be the first tier, or the first main section, main type of content. Then the second one is going to be more magical. Sorry, let me get back to the first one. There's also going to be, apart from all the instructional stuff about how to actually set up a website and market it, I'm also going to be doing manifestation, law of attraction, meditation, things that will actually help a small business person, basically to look after themselves. Yeah, so helping the small business owner. Let's put it as plainly as that. And it's not just about working and working and marketing your business and trying to get the audience in, your clients in, and get more work and everything else. And a lot of people tend to focus on that. It's just the work aspect, and getting the product created. And you've got to look after yourself at the same time. So exercise, healthy eating, meditation, even yoga practice if you like. So I'll be exploring a lot of different things in that regard, and also manifestation, because being a business owner is one thing, and some people have it where they can go out and they can just get the clients and it's easy for them, but a lot of us, it's not so easy. So there will be manifestation, law of attraction, so all of those aspects. And then the second tier is going to be more for the magically inclined person, the esoteric person, people who are interested in the spirituality, the occult, and things like that. So I'll be going into more advanced practices. So whereas with the free content, it'll be general discussions, opinions, maybe some reviews, then from those discussions, I'll be creating a bit more educational, instructional type content, which will be such as how to create a website or how to meditate, different meditation techniques and breathing practices and things like that to help the entrepreneur. But that part I'm going to keep fairly simple and fairly basic. But then there'll be another level of it where I go into more advanced things. For example, if we take the Kabbalistic practice of the mother breath, I'll get into Jacobus' stuff just now. So if we get into like the mother breath technique, which is a meditational and breathing technique, excuse me, then I'll cover the basics. I'll speak about that in the free content, and then we'll go into the entrepreneur, where I show and demonstrate the practice itself, and then there's also an advanced part to the mother breath technique. So then the magical side, the magical tier, will then become the content will go into there. And obviously with the tiers, I've created a third tier on Patreon. Sorry, the tiers are on Patreon. I've created a third tier on Patreon which combines both of them. So if you are an entrepreneur and you're also interested in the more advanced spiritual and magical practices, then that would be perfect for you, and there's a discount on that. So the type of content what I'm going to be doing is posting or creating content once a week, at least once a week. I can see it becoming more because there is a lot of content to cover. I'm going to try and pace myself and take it as easy as possible. I'm the kind of person who just wants to get it all in there now. And I suppose it's part of the fast food culture, but well, let's not worry too much about that. You'll get all the content eventually. I think the slow progression is actually better for everybody, including myself. So the type of contents, I'm going to split it into 4 types. So you'll get the business orientated part of it. So as I say, you're creating a website, online marketing, how to do that practical side of starting and creating a business. And the second one will be again for the entrepreneur, which will be manifestation, law of attraction, meditation, the healthy side of life, and maintaining that balance between work and life itself. We can't keep them separate because through meditation and healthy living, we actually help ourselves to become more productive actually through the day, and so we don't procrastinate as much throughout the day, and we get our work done a lot easier, a lot quicker, and our ideas flow freer, and so it's actually very beneficial for entrepreneurs who are trying to get that business going and also run it, keep it running, and get new ideas and things like that. So definitely, the both form a marriage really, and they should be used together. Then the more magical and advanced side of the whole thing, apart from the advanced practices that I'll be showing basically and simply in the entrepreneur, I'll go into the advanced stuff. But a lot of the content there is going to be based on firstly my own books, which I wrote a few years back. So there's the reality of things, which that's more or less a discussion about spiritual, esoteric and occult theories and practices and thinking and stuff like that. It was actually written with the beginner in mind, somebody who's coming from a mainstream path and finding themselves in a more spiritual path, witchcraft, the occult paths, ceremonial magic and things like that. And it can be very overwhelming. So what I've done, I've gone through a load of topics and broken them down to try and make it easier, that transition easier, and to try and help that person navigate their way through and seek out the proper information that they need. And I mean, you get information left, right and centre, and you must do this and you must do that, and it can become extremely overwhelming. So that's what that book was for. The second book was The Black Crow, which goes more into actual practice, meditational practice, sacred circles. There's a lot of different aspects there. I go into the Wicca, I go into the ceremonial, I go into the practical Kabbalah. So that's an envelope or umbrella of practices and different views on them. And then the third book was Elementors and Servitors. And this is one which is going to be very good from a manifestation point of view. It's a practice that can be used for manifestation itself. So it's how to create elementals and servitors in order to go out and bring back the energy that you require, or the things that you require, the information, whatever it may be. And that is written from the perspective of both how to do it from a practical Kabbalah point of view and from a chaos magic point of view. So those are my 3 books, and what I'll be doing is, apart from just you'll be able to go and download them yourself, the actual PDFs. I'll also be doing audio readings of them, and where necessary, I'll also be doing video demonstration and instructional videos, just to show you how to do the practices themselves that are written about in the book. So that's the third lot of content, and then the 4th lot of content is, if you haven't heard of a fantastic gentleman called Jacobus G. Swart, this is his first book, the Book of Self-Creation, and this Jacobus is just, how can I say about Jacobus? I mean, apart from my own father, who I absolutely adored, and I mean, he was my hero growing up. He really was. But apart from my own father, Jacobus is probably the most amazing man I have ever met. I mean, I absolutely love him to bits. And Jacobus, if you happen to be watching this at any stage, I need to contact you, and I'm treating you to lunch next month, because I haven't seen you in ages. So I'm going to be going through not all of his books. I'm currently working through the Book of Immediate Magic Part 1, which I'll show you just now. And I'll explain a bit more just now. The reason I've had the books for years, and every now and again I started working with the practices and kind of fell off because something else came up in my life. And to be honest, the past few years I've been through a huge healing process, and it's not been easy. Obviously, no healing practice is ever easy, but I am at the end of that healing process now, and doing a lot better, and I'm now ready to actually take this on and actually do it. So I'm going to be working through that with you. I would encourage you to buy the books, especially the 1st and the 4th book. Okay, so the 1st book is the Book of Self-Creation. Absolutely incredible book. And it goes through a lot of practices about practical Kabbalah. A lot of meditation, breathing exercises, how to call spirits and things like that. It's definitely one of the best books I've ever read. I didn't write them. Definitely the best book I've ever read on Kabbalah itself. Everybody focuses on the Tree of Life and all the Etz Chaim, and how to get through the Sephirah and things like that. And this is more, it's practical. It doesn't focus. Obviously the Tree of Life comes into it and it comes into play, but it doesn't focus just on the study of the Tree of Life. It goes into the actual practical exercises and magical practices of the Hebrew tradition. So yeah, very excellent book. And then the 2nd book is the Book of Sacred Names, and the 3rd one is the Book of Seals and Amulets. Now these 2 are extremely, they're related heavily to actual Hebrew practice, Hebrew magical practice. So if you're interested, go and have a look at those 2, but I would definitely recommend the 1st book and the 4th book, the Book of Immediate Magic Part 1. He's now got Part 2 out, which I still need to get. But I am working my way through this, and I will be speaking about and actually demonstrating how to do the exercises and the practice, the breathing work, the meditations, how to pull the gates and things like that. So I'm going to put a link to. Shouldn't do that because it makes everything vibrate. I will put a link to the Jacobus's page where you can actually buy the books. He also owns the copyrights to William G. Gray's books, and he's republished a lot of them through the Sangreal Fidelity Press. So I'll put a link to that Lulu account or Lulu page, so you can go and buy the books. Yes, I'm going to be going through them with you, and through the practices and demonstrating the practices and speaking about them. There's a lot of information in these books. There's a ton of information in these books that I wouldn't be able to get through, and it's actually better to hear it through Jacobus's voice himself. So definitely go and buy the books, get the books, and read through them, and then you can watch the videos I'll be doing to work with them. And that's what I'm going to be doing with YouTube, Facebook, and this video content and my Patreon page. And I think it's going to be an exciting journey. I'm looking forward to it. It's what I've always wanted to do my whole life. It's just I'm very much a teacher, and I think I haven't been embracing that at all in my life. There's been occasions where I have been a teacher itself. I worked at Innscape College for a few months, and there have been times when I've taught people esoteric practices and things like that, but it's not one of those things I've really embraced, and it's one of the things I really, really love. So now's the time. I'm 48 now. I'm not young anymore, and I don't have the pretty face like everybody else does, but I think I've got the experience and the knowledge to help. And I hope you find my content extremely useful. And I'll chat to you next time. Cheers.